Hey guys, how's it going? Does anybody else think it's messed up that if an alcoholic goes into work drunk, everybody's like, hey man, you gotta go. But if a workaholic goes to the bar and he brings like a pie chart and fourth quarter reports, nobody says anything? They're equally out of place, I think. So I like superheroes. Except the modern superheroes, they always get their powers from the same thing, you know? It's always like a nuclear radiation accident. That's not realistic at all, you know? Here's what I want to see. Guy gets exposed to nuclear radiation, and all he gets is cancer. That's it, he's tumor boy. You know, he's like telling all his friends about it, like, yeah, I'm tumor boy. Pull out my hair and throw it at you. You know, it's only a couple handfuls, it's not a lot of ammo, but it's something. You know, or maybe a guy like falls into a vat of nuclear ooze, comes out, and all he has is like a third eye melted on his head right there, you know? You're like, oh, can it shoot laser beams? No, it's not even functional, it's just melted on, just really aesthetically displeasing. So a friend of mine, he got into a snowmobiling accident, and he actually had to have his leg amputated from the knee down, you know? And I was just thinking, like, what would it be like to live with that disability all the time? I mean, could you imagine hopping a mile in his shoe? I said shoe, it was singular because one of the legs is missing. Anyways, I think I'm going to make an alcoholic beverage called Yo-Ho-Ho. That way, when people go to the liquor store, they'll be like, yeah, I want that Yo-Ho-Ho and a bottle of rum. So I like to analyze the language that we use, all these sayings that we have that don't make sense most of the time, you know? I was playing hockey one time, and we lost the game, and my teammate, he was like, man, they cleaned our clock. I was like, cleaned our clock? You know, that doesn't really sound that bad. Shouldn't we change it to something a little bit more, you know, a little more negative? Like, oh man, he defecated all over our clock. Painted our clock a really undesirable color. You know, or like another one they say, right? Oh man, they mopped the floor with us. Mopping the floor with you is what they should have to do if they lose, you know? Like before the game, you'd be like, alright, listen, we lose, we clean your clock, you lose, you help us mop the floor. So another one that's kind of funny to me is, you know, just for the hell of it. You know, people will be like, why'd you wear that shirt? Just for the hell of it. But wearing a certain shirt doesn't cause that much hell. Here's what would make a little more sense to me, right? You go to your friend's house, it's like a pentagram on the floor, a sacrificial virgin, Satan's like floating in the room with a red aura around him. You're like, man, why'd you summon Satan? Just for the hell of it. Another one is, people say sweating like a whore in church, you know? And I don't know, maybe whores do sweat in church, but I think something a little more appropriate would be sweating like a whore on the job, maybe. I know there's some perspiration going on there. So I like fall. Fall's a beautiful season, especially here in Boone. And I like Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays personally. It's a good holiday. But it always leads me to question, why do ghosts always say boo? You know, like when did that become like the scary word, boo? Like think about it, you got two ghosts, alright? You get to choose which one's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life. One of them keeps going boo, and the other one keeps going, where's my money? Where's my money? I'm gonna take boo every time, okay? So, and also I like Christmas. Christmas is a fun holiday. I don't necessarily like Santa Claus that much because he kind of promotes materialism amongst children, right? Because all he brings them is material goods. And there's some kids out there who have problems that material possessions aren't going to fix. Like, what do you give a kid whose dad's, you know, got a terrible alcoholism problem? Like, here's a yo-yo. It goes up and down more than your dad's BAC. Enjoy, you know? Like, oh, little Susie, you got leprosy. Here's a Mr. Potato Head. And, I don't really subscribe to any particular religion. Monotheism is kind of the big thing these days, all about one God. I don't know about that, because I feel like that's kind of a monopoly. Like, shouldn't there be some regulations, you know? Imagine if there were multiple gods. You have some competitive pricing, right? You know, maybe some coupons, like follow 2 commandments, you know, don't follow one free, right? You know, be like, all right, I won't commit adultery, I won't covet my neighbor's goods, but the next bastard that cuts me off on traffic, he's getting it. And yeah, my friend, he's like, they're super religious, right, his family. And so one time they punished him by telling him he couldn't go to church. And I mean, I wouldn't care because I'm not religious, but since they're really religious, that's kind of messed up. That's like saying, okay, you messed up, so we're going to punish you by making it a little bit more likely that you're going to go to hell. You know, I wonder if in Catholic families, they'll just like have a chalkboard and they tally up purgatorial minutes on it, right? You know, like, you're eating the rest of your vegetables, or you're floating in that void for 5 more minutes, mister. You want to argue? That's 5 more. Alright guys, that's my time. Thanks.